Hey over there, Joe Lunchbox.
Joy Nightingale.
And today we have landed right here in New Haven, Connecticut. Now, to be a little more in-depth of where we are, we're actually at a spot called the Evergreen Cemetery because we're tracking down some folklore today.
Yep.
See, right now we're going to show you some graves and tell you some history behind them and some legends based off them. So, step right up. Let's go for this ride. So the first grave today that we've come to is a woman by the name of Mary Hart. Now you see, Mary Hart wasn't anything specific in her life, but now there's folklore that says that she haunts this grave. Ooh. She actually goes by the name Midnight Mary, or not, she doesn't go by, it's what she's known as, the legend. So the legend has it, Mary fell ill and collapsed at 12 in the afternoon, and by midnight she was dead. Her husband had her buried, but later that night, her aunt was having these nightmares that Mary was still alive. So much so that she convinced them to dig the body back up just to check. Ooh. And when they did, it seems that Mary's fingernails were like scratching at the box and snapped off, and she has this permanent look of startle on her face. Now, mind you, this is just the legend. No documentation that they actually dug her back up and found that. But it's what the legend has come from. Now, a lot of people think the legend that Mary curses you comes from what's written on her tombstone. So let's take a look at that. See, here we have the grave of Mary Hart, reading at high noon, just from and about to renew her daily work. In her full strength of body and mind, Mary Hart, having fallen prostrate, remained unconscious until she died at midnight, October 15th, 1872, and she was born December 16th, 1824. But you see this part above? The people shall be troubled at midnight and pass away. Now, people thought she might have been so mad at being buried alive that in her final epitaph that there was this curse. And of course, because of that, there are legends. There's legends of two friends that came to this grave. One got afraid, ran away, and the next day his friend never came back, and he came and they found his friend laying at this grave dead with a terrible scared look on his face. And there's all different legends you can read about them. And that's what people think, that the black lettering above the epitaph, the people shall be troubled at midnight. So that's why they say, don't come to Mary's grave at midnight. In all reality, that black writing is just part of the Old Testament of the book of Job. And it's about being reassigned to fate. And it really has nothing to do about cursing people and wanting them to be dead because they were falsely buried. But it is a very, very interesting legend that came from this grave. And because of that, we track down interesting things, and we want to come and see Mary's graves and share this legend with you. So that's just one grave here. Yep. We're about to go look for some others. And we always say, you should come visit these things. Mary, I don't think she has family coming to visit her. She passed away over 140 years ago. I could be wrong. So you should come, but don't come at midnight, because I can't guarantee that curse isn't real. I can't guarantee that those legends aren't real. I can't guarantee that Mary's not really haunting the cemetery. She might be. So I don't want to come visit her at midnight and end up dead. So we came in the middle of the afternoon. All right, on to the next grave. The next grave that we come today is Sarah Lockwood Party. Now, her last name there might not be important, but she actually was the heiress because her husband was William Winchester. So she became the heiress to the Winchester fortune. That's right, the people that made the guns and other things, but most well known for Winchester guns. And you see, her husband died very early, 1881, and she continued to live for a while. And she was living in a house out in San Jose, California. And you might have heard of it. The Winchester Mystery House. They actually have a bench here from the caretakers of her majestic home.
That's pretty cool, though.
Now, there's no legend of Sarah after her life. The legend of Sarah comes during her life with her fear of ghosts.
That she was haunted by ghosts and by her building or keep on building would, I guess, distract them.
Yeah.
Maybe go into like certain rooms or like a different stairway being built, and then this way they couldn't find her.
We don't know the reason. So we've been to that Winchester Mystery House years ago in San Jose, California, before we were filming. And the weird thing about it is there's stairways that just go up to ceilings, and like it's not the next room, and doors out of second floors that there's no room on the other side.
Or doors to an outside.
Yeah, and people don't understand why it was built like this, but Sarah started to obsessively build this house. No rhyme or reason, like build a staircase here, build a room there, build this here, door out there. And like
winding staircase.
Yeah. And Joy was saying, we really don't know why, but she said that she was afraid of the haunting of these ghosts, and that these ghosts that were killed with Winchester guns were going to kill her. So she kept building the house, so they didn't kill her. Like Joy was saying, we don't know if it was to create a maze for these ghosts so they couldn't find her, or if building was actually going to appease the ghost for some reason. But that created the Winchester Mystery House. And I think it's interesting because her husband died and was buried here in Connecticut, even though she was in San Jose, that she's buried here in Connecticut. Sarah Lockwood Party. I call her Sarah Winchester because she was married to the Winchester, but it's a beautiful tombstone. I like the rock looking like a rock and the big cross with the vines of flowers growing up it. We also have another memory of it in loving memory. We can't figure out what happened March 7th, 1884. We don't know if this was put here that day or if there's someone else buried here that we don't know of. So we have William and Sarah's kid, baby Annie. We have William Winchester, and it's funny how the big tombstone says Sarah Party, but here it's Sarah Lockwood Winchester. You see the W, but all three of them lined up. So we can't figure out what happened in 1884 because it doesn't line up with any of the dates of their deaths. About 5 or 6 graves down from to our left, we have William and Sarah Winchesters, but we actually have William's father, Oliver Winchester, the man that built that gum company up, which then William inherited when he passed away. Sarah that was the heiress to that, the fortune. But he's right here too, a few graves down. And it's sad. I don't know if someone broke them on purpose, but it looks like all 3 of these Winchester graves have been broke. But it's interesting, after they broke, how they just left the tombstones on the ground and became like a marker that way instead of reconnecting them. And this one's stood up in the ground, but just falling over, but stuck in that falling position. But now, on to the last grave for today at this Evergreen Cemetery. And the last grave we've come to today is Louise Lassen. Now, unlike the other 2 graves that had some mystique to them, there's no mystique to this one. But I did want to come to this grave for a very specific reason. You see, me being Joe Lunchbox, I love food. And this man is the man that right here in New Haven, Connecticut, invented the hamburger. One of my top foods, always get them all the time. And to think, just sitting here, simple gravestone, the man that affected so many people's lives. You think of how many companies now sell hamburgers, to think that the first one was here. And we just want to come pay our respects. And I think you'll have to continue to our next video. I think we're actually gonna go eat one of those original hamburgers. Not a hamburger made over 100 and something years ago, but the same restaurant is still around here in New Haven. But that's for the next video. 3 graves, 3 legends. We obviously had Midnight Mary, the haunted grave that haunts the cemetery of Evergreen Cemetery. We have Sarah Winchester, who is afraid of ghosts, built a crazy house. And we have Louise Lassen, who created the hamburger.
Legend.
Yeah, a legend in his own way, I think. So that's all the graves that we came to see here at Evergreen Cemetery today. I don't know how you people feel about seeing graves. We like showing them once in a while, especially when there's the the mystique behind them, the legends, the folklore. But let us know in the comments if you like some videos like this, and also if you like this one, give it a thumbs up. It's another way to let us know if you liked it.
Oh yeah.
And subscribe to our channel. It really helps, and we like when you do that. But I think we could call this one right now.
I think so.
Midnight Mary and other graves here at the Evergreen Cemetery. Been there, done that. Remember, folks, safe travels.
Good. Eat.
And live life.